one of the lowest moments in our life ended up, going viral. It was a point in our life where, my pops he went to prison, and you were stuck raising 5 kids on your own. Times got hard. You working all these jobs, trying to make ends meet, and it's crazy because, on the internet they got their view of the story, but we got to tell the full story. So in that area, when everybody's struggling, you can only get so much help from people because they struggling
Right.
too. Could you kind of walk through the process, like during that time when he was away, and you're just trying to make things happen for your family?
Well, it was tough. Single mom, five children, um, pretty much no money. So when you get, I can only speak for me. When your back is up against the wall, you got to come out swinging. You got to do what you got to do. Look, I didn't have to sell my body to make sure y'all eat. I didn't do nothing illegal. But with God, He did it. So one of my sisters, who's gone on to be with the Lord, she would cook for us. She would cook the food and she would blow the horn. Sometime I wouldn't hear her. Then she would call us on the phone. The food's outside, so she would come get whatever she cooked us for that breakfast, dinner. She would, leave it on the porch. So, that was our food throughout the, day, week, whatever. Then, of course, y'all were very young. Had two of y'all in diapers. Two of them was in diapers, the boy and the girl in diapers. So not having money to get the diapers, okay, you got to think. And I always say, these church, y'all didn't ask to be here. So I got to think. I got to think to make it happen. So not just I survived, you guys survived. So, no diapers. So 2 in diapers. One was a year old, the other one was 2 years old. So, okay, I got to think. So I took a sheet off the bed. I tore it up in a lot of pieces. Tore it up a lot of pieces. So, and I know I had safety pins. So I got some of those, they kind of look like underwear, but they like rubbers, and you put them over, like, so no water would come through. So I cut up the sheets, a lot of pieces, because I had 2 in diapers, and I had some safety pins, so I would put the sheets on them and fold it into like the side, like a diaper. I folded it in this triangle way, and triangle. Then I flip it in the middle, then make them come together, and I would pin it on each side. And put the rubber on. The rubber would stop any water from flowing. If they had to pee or whatever, nothing would flow out. So that worked. It worked. It just kept working. And God would just give me this and give me that to make it work. I put myself on the back burner. 5 children, a single mama, working part-time. And God made it work. He made it work. We didn't, you guys didn't miss a meal. It may have not been what everybody else had, but it was enough to get you through the day. And that was my focus. Even if I had to put myself on the back burner, and that happened a whole lot. If I didn't eat, I didn't eat. Hey.
Yeah, that's the story that ultimately, went viral on the internet. That's ultimately why we here. The night when, walking around and we had just been kicked out of the house, and it's like late in the evening. You take us walking around for a while. For everybody on the internet is like, oh, why didn't they go get noodles from the stove? Homeless. Like you can't go nowhere and cook noodles. You homeless. Like I don't know y'all ever seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness when they homeless and they just moving around. That's a real life situation for some people.
Yes.
So we're just walking around and come up on the McDonald's, and you order a cheeseburger, and the total at the time I'm me. At the time I'm like, hold on, one cheeseburger, like, because it's kids.
Right.
Kids gonna do that. They're not gonna think of like the situation. And at the time, like as a parent now, I'm like, dang, because you just trying to hold it together for your family. I'm like, dang, man, but the kid don't know. But we didn't know at the time. You only had $1 to your name, and you get the cheeseburger. You try to get the cheeseburger, and it comes out to $1.05. But you didn't have the nickel. But the lady she wouldn't allow you to get the cheeseburger, without a nickel, which is cool. She's just doing her job.
Right.
What was your thought process? And at that time, it was like, man, you're trying to feed these kids, but all these roadblocks continue to come up in the way.
Whatever you have to do, you got to make it happen. I just that just was my mindset. But I wasn't gonna do nothing illegal. But whatever I had to do, sometimes when, and this may help somebody, when you going through stuff, you got to put your pride aside. Because especially when it's not just about you, you got 5 kids, and you need some help, and you don't want to ask for help, and you gonna make them suffer because of your pride. That wasn't happening with me. No, so I had to do what I had to do and make it happen. So whoever I had to ask, if the first person said no, I was going to another one. If the next person said no, I was going to another one. And it reminds me to this day of the scripture in the Bible where this woman kept going to this unjust judge, and she kept asking him, and he was turning her down. But this one time she went to him and she asked him, and he said, because of your persistence, I'm going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Because of your persistence. And God knew I wasn't going to give up. Yeah. He know that's just in me.
The thing that kind of sit with me during that time when you were going around, just asking somebody to give you, loan or nickel, was kind of how some of the people were looking down on us. Because, assumption, it's easy. That's why I don't judge people. I don't know what situation they in. Like I told you yesterday, the gym, the dude was poking me. That could just be the way he grew up. Could be the other way. I don't know. So I'm not going to judge. I'm going to leave it at that. But people are looking down on us as if, why this mother making all these kids she can't take care, knowing that, we know that's not the situation, but they judging us without knowing. But ultimately you end up having somebody give you the nickel, go outside, you cut the cheeseburger up into 5 slices, and you start heading it out to us. And, I'm going to say I'm guilty of probably being the first one to take the first slice.
Probably so.
But then Cappy was the one that noticed that you didn't cut a slice for yourself. And that's when we all kind of stopped. And we tried to offer you an individual piece of our individual slices. And like through everything, I never saw you I'm sure you were crying behind the scenes, but you never let us see you sweat. But that was the moment that you cried in front of us. And to be honest, that's what stuck with me. Whenever in everything in sports and stuff, they thought I was crazy. And they didn't understand. I remember when I came to Florida State and I had just early enrolled, and they were like, man, this dude, he won't leave. I was just upstairs watching film. And I'm leaving when the coaches leave. Mind you, this in the spring, we ain't got, this January, we didn't even start this winter workouts yet. They're like, what's up with this dude? And they didn't understand. Then fast forward, DeMarcus Walker, he was my roommate. He come in with me, and he came in, and DeMarcus come from the struggle too. I remember we would sneak into the stadium late at night. He's like, man, we got to play. He's like, this all I got. We would sneak into the stadium late at night, running stadiums, running sprints. I'm talking about everybody at the club. We done already worked out that day, but it's just whatever type of advantage we can get over the competition. One day the coaches come in, a few coaches, GAs and stuff, they come in and they catch us sneaking into the stadium. And we ain't even getting in trouble. They're like, yo, these dudes different. And I fast forward to, I think it was my junior year. I got hurt the first game against, no, it might have been my sophomore year. I got hurt the first game was playing Oklahoma State. Tore my meniscus first game. And everybody was worried because that was the year they had just found out that I could do a lot of things with the ball in my hand, so they had a lot of big plans for me, so they was worried. And then they also man, we're going to lose our fullback. At this time, I'm a fullback. I was supposed to get a surgery that was going to take me out for 6 to 8 games. They say 6 to 8 games, but when you hear that, you're probably going for the season because the rehab could take longer than you thought, whatever the case may be. And I was like, nah, I'm going to play on it. I ain't finna miss 6. I get the surgery after the season. And they just never really understood why I did what I did. And I don't know if you remember after we played Michigan in the Orange Bowl, I think this is probably the situation where I shocked the dude so much. When I was training in Boca, we go from Miami straight to Boca the next day. Like literally, we just played the day before. I go to the training facility. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to work out. He's like, yo, you just played yesterday. Let your body rest and all this stuff. He looking at me like I'm crazy. Like I've never seen this before. He's like, well, just let your body rest. Go and get some rehab and all that stuff. But then the same trainer, he saw my story go viral. He's like, it all makes sense. You know, and it's because of that moment, you know, it pushed me to my level. Not just me, like my siblings, they all, you know, doing their thing in the world. It pushed all of us. I think when we want to quit, it pushes every single one of us. And there's a best-selling book that came out of it. There's a documentary, you know, that was able to get purchased, and you know, you starring in. There's so many things that were birthed out of that moment.